Hello and welcome back to the Daily Iowan TV Sports Pregame Show. Alongside this guy, Cody Goodwin, I'm Josh Bolander.
A lot on tap in today's edition of the program. Josh, why don't you tell our viewers what's on the agenda?
Later in the show, we stopped to chat with Missouri State head coach Terry Allen's former West High football coach. Ross Rance makes its return to the pregame show, and as always, we're going inside the numbers in just a bit to drop some knowledge and see how the stats stack up for the black and gold.
Before we get all to that first, Josh, it's important to mention that Missouri State's first road game of the year will also be a homecoming of sorts for the Bears head coach Terry Allen. As we discussed, Allen attended West High School on top of coaching at both of the black and gold's in-state rivals, Northern Iowa and Iowa State. His father, believe it or not, also played alongside Iowa's only Heisman winner, Niall Kinnick.
We'll have more on Allen's relationship with the Hawkeye State later in the show. But if you think that's interesting, we're just getting started. Inside the Numbers starts now.
To say Kirk Ferentz is expected to win this weekend is about as big an understatement as one can make. Despite the Hawks head man's 7-game losing streak, his $3.65 million a year annual salary puts a shame to the annual $104,499 his counterpart Terry Allen will be making on the opposite sideline. To put things in perspective, it takes Ferentz just under 35 days to make what Allen will make in a year. That's a non-conference schedule for the black and gold, or 16 quarters of play. The stats aren't exactly encouraging for the Bears either. In 29 previous attempts to defeat a Division I or FBS school, MSU has won exactly one time, in 1990. When the Teenage Mutant Turtles and The Simpsons were just hitting the mainstream, Colorado football was topping the college football charts, and Iowa football thought this poster was intimidating. If the Bears have any shot at winning, they will almost certainly have to slow down the black and gold stable of running backs. The Weissman-Bullitt combo combined for 176 yards, averaging just under 5 yards a carry against NIU in the opener. State gave up a combined 225 yards to the last two Division I backs they've played, 152 to Kansas State's John Hubert, and 73 to Louisville's Sonoris Perry, both losses for the Bears in 2012. The concept of ground and pound may be familiar to many of the Kinnick faithful, but the hurry-up is slowly turning into the new norm for offensive coordinator Greg Davis. Let's pump the brakes on calling any Kirk Ferentz coach team the Oregon Ducks, but the Hawks did run 80 plays last Saturday, 21% more than last year's average. And with big play threats like Jordan Cotton and Damon Powell on the outside, who averaged 30 yards a grab last year at Snow College in Utah, things could continue speeding up for the Hawkeye offense. The key defensively will be to slow down opposing offenses, with the big play killing the Hawks last weekend against NIU, with all three passing touchdowns for the Huskies coming from outside of the red zone.
And now that we've gotten a little bit of a numbers perspective when it comes to everything Hawks and Bears, let's break things down Ben Ross style as he's back for another week. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for Ross Rants.
Thanks, guys, and welcome back to another installment of Ross Rants. This week we'll be talking about the tight end, or lack thereof, in Iowa's offense. At the Hawkeyes' disposal, they have 6'7" and 265-pound tight end C.J. Fedoritz, and he's just not getting the ball. Last week he only had 2 catches for a total of 15 yards. Now, he did get a touchdown in the end zone, but at all times, C.J. Fedoritz seems to be the biggest player on the field. When Missouri State comes to town this weekend, he will have 5 inches on average over Missouri State's defensive backs and their linebackers. Now, in last week's game, out of 37 passes, only 5 went to tight ends, with the other 3 passes going to Henry Krieger-Coble and Jake Doozy. Now, I'm really not sure why Iowa doesn't seem to be trying to get the ball to its tight ends, especially in noted playmaker C.J. Fedoritz. This past week at the press conference, Iowa head coach Kirk Ferentz said the defense dictates the ball. Well, sometimes the offense dictates where the ball goes to. I'm saying that Jake Rudolph to get C.J. Fedoritz the ball this week. We'll see a lot of more firepower out of the Iowa offense. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Ben. Entertaining as always. We gave you a little bit of insight as to why the Bears' first road trip is actually a little bit of a homecoming earlier in the show. And now, for more on Terry Allen's return to Iowa City, let's toss it over to Chelsea Brown, who spoke earlier today with a very special guest.
Chelsea Brown here in the stadium at West High School, here with Gary Hollingsworth, a former football and track coach here. And Gary, you had the opportunity of coaching Terry Allen, the head coach of the Missouri State Bears. How was it coaching him during your time here at West High School?
Terry Allen was an exceptional athlete. He not only was a good, outstanding quarterback, but he also was a very good basketball player. and he was an all-conference football player, and was just a good leader. He was a person that all the athletes liked. He was a person that did not show that he was better than anybody else, but he had the ability to lead and be a very good athlete.
But you'll still be rooting for those Hawkeyes, won't
Okay,
you?
I'll have very mixed emotions. I do want the Hawkeyes to do well because I have much respect for their parents, but I do want I want Terry Allen's team to do well to show that he is doing a great job of coaching them.
All right, well, thank you again, Gary. And back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Chelsea. And unfortunately, that's all the time we have for tonight. But be sure to tune in back this Sunday for highlights of everything black and gold. And remember, on Iowa,
And go Hawks.